What's up, guys? We got the big arms today. Finally, at long last. I never thought I would see the day that Bandai would actually make this kit, but we have the gigantic arm unit version of the Hazel Owsla here out as obviously a P-Bandai kit, but as you can tell by the box art there, and by the fact that unfortunately all of the recent Advance of Zeta releases, whether they be all the HG1s or the MG Hazels as well, have all been premium Bandai, unfortunately. But still, again, really cool that they're actually making this kit. I can't wait to check it out. Let's go ahead and get into it. So obviously, with this being the gigantic arms unit, we've got a gigantic box for this, and again, with it being P-Bandai, it's all in monotone, but you can see a really cool action shot there, like a CG composite image there in the back of the model kit, and some like effects in there that looks really cool, but unfortunately it's just all kind of there in the background. But the model kit looks awesome. We have new parts for the Psycho Gundam's arms there. I know it's not just parts taken strictly from the HGUC Psycho Gundam and then just slapped onto this kit. I know some of those parts are new, but we'll take a look at the runners more closely here in a moment. Around on the sides of the box, there's not really too much else to see here, again with it being a P-Bandai kit, so we can basically just get right to opening it up. And it looks like we got some stickers there. I don't think that this kit comes with any water slide decals, unfortunately, but we'll find out more about that in a moment. Let's just first take a look at the instruction manual. And again, unfortunately with this instruction manual, there's really not too much to see on here, which I understand well enough because it's a P-Bandai kit. The only thing that I wish that we had an instruction manual in color and had some more photographs of it is that it's really great just for a reference guide for colors, as our color guide is on here just in text form. So with the box art and the instruction manual not being in full color, you really can't have a proper sense of the colors for this kit without having to look up a picture on your phone or on the computer or whatever, which is not that big of a deal, but it's nice to have it in the manual, I think. But here's the decal guide right there, and that's kind of the only photograph of the kit that we have other than, like I said, what's on the front of the box. Otherwise, we've got our parts list here, which there's quite a lot of X's on there, as you might imagine. There's a lot of parts, like these parts are from the Hazel, some parts are from the Hurudu, and some parts are from the Primrose, so you've got a lot of stuff going on here. You just go through all of that here in the manual, just kind of shows you how everything is all set up. Okay, so taking a look at the stickers, here we've got the foil stickers for the eyes and a couple of cameras, the head camera right there on the top. And then our marking decal, seems like half of this decal sheet is just taken up by the title of the kit there, but you got some really cool markings. Just want to give you guys a nice close-up look at that so you can see the gigantic arms logo there, the Titans Test Team logo. Very cool for this one. We got some polycaps here, PC123 in gray, and an included stand here in black. That's probably going to be very important for this particular kit. And then we have 4 different A runners. So this is going to be one of those cases where it really kind of pays off to be able to read Japanese katakana, or at least enough to be able to differentiate which runner is which. So the manual, when it says A Hazel parts, you need to be able to read or at least recognize the katakana there where it says Hazel for this runner. So this 4-color runner here with red on the side, yellow at the top, dark navy, Titans blue, and then clear pink for the beam saber effect part is from the original Hazel custom kit. This A runner, which we have 2 of, though they're slightly different. One of them doesn't have the yellow and gray sections on it, but this one is from the Primrose set. And then this A runner here in gray and yellow is going to be parts from the Hurudu set. For our multiple B runners, here is the B runner from the Hazel custom, and here are the B runners from the Primrose, B1 in gray, B2 we have 2 of in that dark Titans blue, and then the B runner from the Hurudu set is here in that off-white. Same with the next runner from the Hazel custom, runner C, all your off-white parts for that kit right there. And then runners D and E, also from the original Hazel custom kit, some more of the frame and joint parts, hand parts and stuff there. And these are in the updated PS plastic form, polystyrene, whereas with the original releases, these were in ABS plastic. So just a heads up on that. So these are not ABS, which is nice. Then runner E2 here is from the advanced Hazel. So you've got the boots parts, the shield booster, the parts for the front skirts, the sub arms there on the front skirts, that's all here on runner E2. Then we got runner XA and XB. Now these are parts from the Hurudu 2. These are all in gray. We've got 2 of that XB runner there, as you can see. Runner XC1 and XC2 are in off-white, also from the Hurdudu 2 set. Same with runner XD. These are going to be from the Hurdudu 2 in that dark navy blue color. We've got 2 of those. Finally, with runner XE1, we get into some of the brand new parts for this kit. So this runner is labeled for the gigantic arm unit, and as you can see, we got some yellow, gray, and dark Titan's blue color on there. So I imagine this is not the last we're going to see of this runner. Runner XE2 is going to be a copy of this section of the runner right there, all of those parts. And finally, runner XF1 in off-white is some more new parts for the gigantic arm unit here for the kit, and that's it. Alright guys, so here is the kit all built up. I never thought I would see the day that we actually got a model kit here of the gigantic arms Hazel. It looks awesome, and although it looks awesome, it is going to have a little bit of weight issues because, as you might imagine, the backpack is pretty gigantic, as the name would imply. But other than that being sort of a minor issue for this, it really is very cool. I do love the fact that the arms are actually all new parts here made specifically for this kit, and I'm very much looking forward to hopefully seeing these parts reused again in some other different variants, or maybe made available to purchase as a separate set that then you could use with maybe your TR-6 wound ward or something like that, for example. But it's a pretty cool kit, and as you may imagine, after seeing the unboxing portion, we do have a ton of leftover parts, some of which are notable, and I will show those to you guys here in just a second. But aside from that, not necessarily too much in the way of like actual accessories for this kit as it is, but let's go ahead and check those out. So alright, first thing we've got for accessories for this is just going to be hand options. Now there on the kit you can see it's got its holding hands like so. We also have a couple of trigger finger holding hands for the rifle, one with a bent wrist and one with a straight wrist. You can use those. And although it's not technically used by this because we don't technically have the beam saber on this design, you do have your beam saber holding hand in here as well for the right side. For the left side, you have an open hand, which can be used for a rifle support hand, or just sort of an open, somewhat expressive left hand there. And then we've got our rifle, which of course is just the same Hazel custom beam rifle there, complete with a little sticker on the lens right there for that. But these attachment parts just plug into the front, plug here onto the back to make our long blade rifle, and it's very cool, although it is going to be a little bit boring here in the midsection as the colors are very off here for the actual main part of the rifle, but otherwise the details and everything are very nice on this. And that's going to be the extent of all of the accessories you have for this. If you want to include the sticker sheet as well, you might include that. But like I said, you have a lot of leftover parts, most of which I just threw in this bag because it's a lot of parts left over from the Hurdudu and the Primrose, which I would have to dig out the manuals for those and look and see how actually some of those parts go together and what you can actually make with those. I'm not too entirely sure, but some of the parts here that I know that you can make pretty easily, for example, is the entire torso unit of the Hazel custom right here. You're only missing the polycaps for the shoulders right in there, but they're the most common type of polycaps that Bandai makes, so you very likely have some extras of those. So I just went ahead and threw some extra polycaps in there just to make this full torso. You also have the head equipment here for the advanced Hazel if you wanted to use that instead of the head equipment that you just have on here just as the Hazel custom head. We also got the original Hazel custom shoulder armor, which is just very simple, just 2 pieces with the seam line and everything to use that if you preferred. We got the beam saber handle and effect part for that. Again, the beam saber not used in this, so just according to the manual, although you definitely could put the handle in there into the backpack. It'd be kind of a tight squeeze back there to fit it in, but you have this and you have the hand for it, so you most certainly can use this as an accessory, as well as the shield. You have the regular Hazel custom shield and the connection piece for the arm, so you certainly can use this and attach it onto the arm. And then you also have this shield as well, and you can use that attached onto the arm if you want as well. Just either of those you can use. So again, even though the manual doesn't show to build those and to use them, just according to the manual, according to the design, you have those as accessories as well. Now the main stability issue that I was referring to before was just to do with the fact that the stand base, you have to actually build it kind of backwards to what you normally do, and it just plugs into the back of what is the parts of the Hurdudu right there in the center. And it's just kind of a matter of the legs just want to, the whole front of the kit just kind of wants to fall forward there. and do one of these like that. So you have to make sure, and it just kind of depends on what you have it stood on. This base is kind of slippery, so it's just kind of sliding on that. If you have it on something that has a little bit more kind of grip to it, like if it's just on top of your cutting mat or something that's kind of a little bit sort of stickier, if you guys get what I mean, it'll stand up just fine, and it depends on the pose. If you wanted to do it in any other sort of pose other than just like a regular standing pose, you would have to plug it onto an action base, either connected onto the back, which I feel like that would not work well. So you're just gonna have to plug it onto a base up underneath the waist section, which you'll notice does not have a 3mm peg hole in it. So what I would do if I were you guys, I would just drill a hole in there. That would be the easiest way. But barring that, what you're gonna have to do is use one of these type connection pieces, which can work fine on a normal kit, but because this kit is so back heavy and because of the weight distribution of this design, I feel like that's probably not going to work out too well. But we'll find out in just a moment. Let's go ahead and just take a look kind of over this kit here in a little bit more detail before we try out some poses. Now, as for the stickers for it, we have stickers for the eyes, sticker for the head camera up there, stickers down here above the ankles, and then a sticker around here on the backpack. Those are all normal to the Hazel Custom. If you guys have ever built the Hazel Custom before, you've used those stickers all before. These front skirt parts are the same as with the advanced Hazel, so those sub arms just fold out. You have tiny little claws which you can fold out from here that can either hold on to your beam rifle or onto the beam saber. So again, another way that you can use the beam saber is just you having that held in the sub arm, which I'm having trouble getting those fingers folded out there at the moment, but those fingers fold out and the sub arms work really quite well. Speaking of advanced Hazel parts, of course, we also have the added boots to the feet. Those are again from the advanced Hazel added on here. And then the torso is all from the Primrose, including these shoulder parts and these shoulder parts. One of the other stability issues with this kit is that these parts added onto like the front of the shoulders there come off very easily. As you can just barely touch them, they're just gonna pop off. They don't really hold on by very much. As you can see, like that little slot on the inside of there just kind of plugs right onto the front of here. And as you're moving things around, you're gonna find that you're knocking those pieces off very frequently. Also just due to the fact that it's a very tight fit in here for the head, and the V-fin you're probably gonna find is getting in the way here. So you have to kind of have it posed just right so the V-fin is not colliding with these parts there on the side. You can turn the head, and there you're gonna knock off that part once again. You can turn the head, and you can pose it just fine, but it's definitely going to be a tight fit in and around this section here. Then of course, all the rest of the new parts are just here to do with the gigantic arms. Up over here, these parts are just again from the Primrose. So these are just attached via a sub arm, and you can kind of move these around any which way that you want. They're connected at the back, but the arms are connected here onto this side part of the Primrose set right there. And so these arms, even though they're gigantic, are gonna work pretty standard to just some simple HG arms. You have rotation there at the top. These will move in and out to the side only to there, so you can't raise the arm up any higher than that. Otherwise, just gonna rotate there, and there that part just fell off the front again. The elbow joint is quite interesting, as it would appear it only goes 90 degrees like that, but there's actually this part right there in the front that folds in and uses a double joint. If I can get my hand out of the way there, uses a double joint there. The other part just fell off the front, and that gives you a pretty full bend here for the elbow, which is quite nice. These giant hands are just on a ball joint right there, and then the fingers are each made up of 3 parts: a base section, a middle gray section, and then a yellow part. But there's not really any articulation necessarily between the second gray section and the yellow part. It is a tiny little ball joint, but it's really just kind of a connection rather than an articulation point. So really you have a point of articulation at the base of the finger, kind of in the middle sort of the finger, and that's really gonna be kind of about it. But those are nicely articulated. The thumb is gonna be just a single piece on a ball joint there like that. So really nicely detailed for these for sure. And a nice thing about these arms, especially compared to the original kit, is that you don't have any seam lines around on here. So you have updated, better articulation and no seam lines, and it's very, very nice to see all of that. All right, so let's try out a couple poses, and I'm finding out that you can get this up on a base. It's gonna be a little bit wobbly, a little bit precarious, and I am a little bit disappointed that Bandai, if they're gonna make some new parts for this kit, why not make just a new part for that waist section, or some way give us a new kind of connection piece that will allow you to put this kit up on a stand in a aerial pose in a little bit better way to support the weight. It's a difficult kit to put up on a stand just because of how the weight is distributed, so I understand that it's an issue, but I wish that that would have been something that that Bandai would have addressed in making this kit, because it's certainly, you know, something that you're going to have to deal with if you want to have this up on a stand. But then really my only other complaint would be just the fact that it once again does not include any water slides. I know that, you know, including water slides is something that Bandai just doesn't really do very often, especially not in high grade kits, but considering this is a premium Bandai kit, and for a kit that I feel like, you know, the Advance of Zeta kits are quite well known for their markings, so at least having a couple of water slides in there, at least for like a few of the main markings for this, I feel like would certainly have been nice and certainly would have been warranted, considering this is a premium Bandai release. If it's a standard release, you know, maybe I understand, but for premium Bandai, I think including at least a couple of water slides should have been something that Bandai should have done with this release. Other than that, guys, it is very cool, and like I said, it's something that, you know, as I may have a couple of small complaints about it, honestly, I'm just glad that this kit even got made, because I never would have expected, you know, if you would have asked me years ago if I thought Bandai was ever going to make this kit, I would have said, nah, I don't think so. I guess we'd have to go back a few more years, because they have been making these premium Bandai variants for a couple years now, but even still, I don't know if I ever would have expected we would see this one, and especially with like new parts for the arms, I would have expected, yeah, maybe they'll do something, well, they'll include parts from the HG Psycho Gundam, but the fact that we got all new parts for those gigantic arms is very cool, and I'm definitely looking forward to future variants. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this latest release in this series of premium Bandai Advance of Zeta kits? Nobody loves the fact that they're premium Bandai, but like I said, I do like the fact that we actually are getting some more Advance of Zeta kits. It is very cool as a fan of the series. So that's it for this video, guys. If you want to check out some more different Gundam kits and paints and tools and supplies, all that good stuff, you know, you can check the link down in the video description to USA Gundam Store down there. Got all sorts of stuff there for you guys. And thank you so much for checking out the video today. If you'd also like to like and or subscribe while you're here, that would be greatly appreciated. But until next time, hope y'all have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye.